Summer and my name is Wiyara Mubarack and I'm from the Montessori school. Our project is a new chemical and physical technique to produce biofuel from carbohydrates without the use of enzymes. Wiyara and I came across statistics that said that people throw billions of tons of municipal solid waste in their homes. And people throw, the main thing people throw is food. They throw away their dried up pasta, vegetables, rice, all kinds of things which contain carbohydrates. And carbohydrates are a form of biomass which can be converted into biofuel to overpower the current energy crisis. The concept of producing biofuel from biomass is not something new. People have been doing it for years using different methods such as acid treatment, using enzymes, and pyrolysis or heat treatment. However, we found that these methods are inefficient on an industrial scale and also they are harmful to the environment. Therefore, our aim was to come up with a new way to produce biofuel from carbohydrates, which is more efficient and less harmful to the environment.
So after extensive research, we realized that the carbohydrate chain looked like this. These are carbohydrates and they are connected together with a glycosidic liquid, which is slightly polar. It is slightly negatively charged. Therefore, we thought of electricity as a way to break down this chain and form biofuels after fermentation. So we thought of manipulating electricity with manipulating polar plates, as seen here, in order to break it down. And we thought of using very low-grade electricity, which can be obtained from any solar cell in any school. So our solar cell gave only 12 volts, for example, and it was really small. So we thought of using any kind of electricity to produce biofuels.
Of course, we wanted to test out our theory to see if it actually worked. So we conducted a simple lab-based experiment where we placed a solution of date seeds in water. And of course, we chose to work on date seeds because they are very hard, like their physical nature is very hard. And therefore, we thought that if we could implement our technique on date seeds, then we can implement it on any other kinds of carbohydrates. So we exposed the date seed and water solution to around 2 hours of electric treatment. And after the treatment, we fermented it using yeast, and we found that the solution did contain alcohol. And of course, we measured the alcohol using a simple refractometer.
After that, we decided we could investigate a couple of factors, like heat and size and surface area of date seeds, for example. So this is a graph that shows the factors of heat and how it affects the conversion of carbohydrates to ethanol with our technique. So as shown here, there's a linear relationship between temperature and the conversion of ethanol. And we reached about maybe 20% here with a different amount of hours, but after many calculations, we reached about 20% conversion per hour of by mass of ethanol, of carbohydrates to ethanol at 60 Celsius.
We found that as we crushed it more, the more ethanol was produced, and this can be seen in the graph, where the fully crushed produced the highest amount of ethanol, while when it wasn't crushed, it was very minimal amount of ethanol. However, we realized, as seen by the jump here, that the main factor that would cause the conversion of carbohydrates, or mainly date seeds, into ethanol was the removing of the outer coating of this carbohydrate molecule or thing. We also investigated the percentage conversion by mass per hour of carbohydrates into biofuel, into ethanol or bioethanol, and we found that it was around 5% per hour. So Wiyara and I decided to come up with a system, a complete system in which we can implement our technique on. As you can see, the main part of the system is the concave heating device, which is meant to reflect sunlight directly onto the container in which the solution of carbohydrates will be placed.
So this container along the axis of this concave device will contain the carbohydrate solution, and it is lined with graphite on the inside in order to conduct electricity suitably. So we designed this to have heat and the solution with heat. We have an input valve and an output valve, and after testing we found out that this container can reach about 120 Celsius in 5 minutes. So imagine the conversion rate per hour of carbohydrates to ethanol we can reach with a container like this.
Of course, after our technique worked on date seeds, we wanted to try it out on different types of carbohydrates, which was the main aim of our experiment. So we tried it out on pasta, rice, potatoes, all kinds of simple carbohydrates, and using the same technique of 2 hours of simple electric treatment, we fermented the solution, and using spectrometer found that this solution actually contained alcohol. So our technique worked on all other kinds of carbohydrates. But however, we faced a couple of limitations, like the ability to measure the exact amount of ethanol in each solution. That is why we don't have many statistics, because we had to go to the RSS, a research center very far away from our school, to use a gas chromatography machine in order to measure the exact amount of ethanol in each solution. That is why we only have the basis of our theory, which will be later on, if it is later on evolved and introduced on an international scale. Imagine what we could do. We could take wastes from houses, from restaurants, from industrial houses and places which have wastes of carbohydrates, put them under the sun, use electricity from the sun, and produce biofuel. So imagine you could put wastes under the sun in a container like we've designed on an international, on a big scale, on big fields of big plants of biofuel production using our technique. We could put this waste under the sun and produce biofuels.